I want to say hello and good morning to our listeners from around the world. I want to welcome to another edition of This Morning with Soulivity, broadcasting live from our studio right here in the nation's capital and on KMET 1490 AM radio in Southern California. My name is Brian Wesley Johnson. We have a fantastic show for you today. Important topic that has been going on for a while now. And I'm going to mention what that is in just a second, but I have to introduce my amazing co-host first, which is Sheila Applegate. Good morning, Sheila.
Good morning, Brian. Good morning, everyone.
How's your week been so far?
It's been a good week. It's been good. Today is a gorgeous day. We had a thunderstorm yesterday, so the humidity is down, the sun is out. I went for a walk. Feels good.
Ooh.
How about you?
Well, I guess we're getting that thunderstorm-ish weather from you because it's raining here.
Okay.
Which again, everybody knows I love my little plants and all that stuff that are around the house and outside our home. They needed the water, they needed the nourishment, and so I'm happy that it's raining
Mhm.
because I've been having to
Right.
go out there and water and give them some love.
Right.
Um, um, but it's been good. I mean, listen, I think the rain is beautiful, especially great to sleep in. Like, oh my God,
Yeah.
that rain, those rain showers are just like hypnotizing. Um, but yeah, yeah. Might even go walk in it later, if it's still raining.
Yeah, that's a fun thing to do.
Hmm.
You've got me thinking about sleeping with rain because I grew up, with a summer cottage. So there was no
Oh,
ceiling and
wow.
no insulation. It was just the roof above my bed, and you could just hear
Oh
the rain.
man, yeah, the cabin that we used to use in Canada. Hey, Colchester, if you're listening,
Mhm.
um, they had the same deal. We had bunk beds in my
Uh-huh.
room, and I was always on the top, and you could hear that pitter patter.
Yeah.
Man, I'd be knocked out, knocked out.
Maybe I need to do that as a music. There's got to be on YouTube
Oh
somewhere.
yeah, yeah. I do that
Rain on the
sometimes. I do that sometimes if there's from time to time I can't sleep, and I'll put that on, and it knocks me out. And they
Nice.
even have the ones that are like black screen, so that you don't even see anything. You just all you hear is the
Hmm.
rain, and it literally sounds like it's
Like the
like it's
rain.
raining. Yeah, yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, and that's our show for today. We're gonna.
I know I could keep going with this. I'm thinking about the waves hitting against the seawall now.
Oh man, listen, as I said before, we have a really important topic that we're going to be talking about. We're going to be giving you information about the latest and greatest from the writers and actors strikes that are going on here in the United States and affecting probably the world of television, film, stage, uh, internationally.
Mhm.
But we wanted to start with this one video where the I didn't know that she was the Screen Actor Guild's president until recently, Fran
Mhm.
Drescher, um, and she's kind of announcing the strike and her feelings behind it. So why don't we take a look at this and we'll talk more on the other side.
Thank you. Thank you, Duncan. And thank you, everybody, for coming to this press conference today. It's really important that this negotiation be covered because the eyes of the world, and particularly the eyes of labor, are upon us. What happens here is important because what's happening to us is happening across all fields of labor by means of when employers make Wall Street and greed their priority and they forget about the essential contributors that make the machine run. We have a problem. And we are experiencing that right at this moment. This is a very seminal hour for us. I went in earnest, thinking that we would be able to avert a strike. The gravity of this move is not lost on me or our negotiating committee or our board members who have voted unanimously to proceed with a strike. It's a very serious thing that impacts thousands, if not millions of people all across this country and around the world. Not only members of this union, but people who work in other industries that service the people that work in this industry. And so it came with great sadness that we came to this crossroads, but we had no choice. We are the victims here. We are being victimized by a very greedy entity. I am shocked by the way the people that we have been in business with are treating us. I cannot believe it, quite frankly. How far apart we are on so many things. How they plead poverty, that they're losing money left and right when giving hundreds of millions of dollars to their CEOs. It is disgusting. Shame on them. They stand on the wrong side of history at this very moment. We stand in solidarity, in unprecedented unity. Our union and our sister unions and the unions around the world are standing by us, as well as other labor unions. Because at some point, the jig is up. You cannot keep being dwindled and marginalized and disrespected and dishonored. The entire business model has been changed by streaming, digital, AI. This is a moment of history that is a moment of truth. If we don't stand tall right now, we are all going to be in trouble. We are all going to be in jeopardy of being replaced by machines and big business. Who cares more about Wall Street than you and your family? Most of Americans don't have more than $500 in an emergency. This is a very big deal, and it weighed heavy on us. But at some point, you have to say, no, we're not going to take this anymore. You people are crazy. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? Privately, they all say we're the center of the wheel. Everybody else tinkers around our artistry. But actions speak louder than words. And there was nothing there. It was insulting. So we came together in strength and solidarity and unity with the largest strike authorization vote in our union's history. And we made the hard decision that we tell you as we stand before you today. This is major. It's really serious. And it's going to impact every single person that is in labor. We are fortunate enough to be in a country right now that happens to be labor friendly. And yet, we were facing opposition that was so labor unfriendly, so tone deaf to what we are saying. You cannot change the business model as much as it has changed and not expect the contract to change too. We're not going to keep doing incremental changes on a contract that no longer honors what is happening right now with this business model that was foisted upon us. What are we doing? Moving around furniture on the Titanic? It's crazy. So the jig is up, AMPTP. We stand tall. You have to wake up and smell the coffee. We are labor and we stand tall and we demand respect and to be honored for our contribution. You share the wealth because you cannot exist without us. Thank you.
Woo! Woo! Yeah, and this is from the AP. 3 years after the pandemic brought Hollywood to a standstill, the film and TV industry has again ground to a halt. This time through, though, the industry is engaged in a bitter battle on how streaming and advancing rapidly during the pandemic has upended the economics of entertainment. Having weathered the COVID plague, Hollywood is now fully at war in its own Apocalypse Now double feature. Tens of thousands of Screen Actors Guild and American Federation of Television and Radio Artists hit the picket lines last week, joining 11,000 Writers Guild of America screenwriters who have been on strike since May. We're joined again by Sheila Applegate, and we got D'Angelo Thompson on the line as well. Thank you for joining, D'Angelo.
Thank you, guys.
Oh man, well, I'll go to you first, D, because this affects you directly because you are a member,
Yeah.
right? Um uh you're a award-winning hair and makeup artist that has been doing this for a long time.
Uh,
and um and Fran Drescher, who's the president of SAG, is making a really compelling argument here around that the industry across everything, which even affects even stage performers, has fundamentally changed.
Yes.
What say you about this?
Well, first and foremost, I'm a part of the Local 798, which is a union for hair and makeup.
Yeah.
And we are under the umbrella and work with WGA and SAG. You know, we work with actors every day.
Yeah.
And a lot of us, we've been talking about it. We were very naive to what actors were making. We always thought they were doing much, much better than we were. And come to find out, many of them were not. And it explains a lot.
Right.
Especially when it comes to residuals and for writers as well for streaming. Like they were saying literally pennies on the dollar. I read an article in the New Yorker about Orange is the New Black and the actresses, which was Netflix's #1 show, right?
Yeah.
Globally. And one actress was on 44 episodes. Now, imagine if she was on network television, 44 episodes, she would be fine financially. She showed her statement, and they've all been sharing very openly, which I think is wonderful. I think transparency is key.
Yeah.
She made $27 in a royalty check.
Yeah.
And others were sharing $10, $20. These checks, if you if you are on a network show or a film, those checks could be thousands, tens of thousands.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
So that's the difference when people are curious as to why are they striking? It's that. It's also the minimum to have health insurance for actors is $26,000. But if you're a bit player or a co-star, you may co-star on 1 or 2 shows a year, and meaning that you don't even hit the $26,000 mark. So therefore, you and your family don't have insurance, but you're paying dues.
Wow.
So there's a lot that has to change. I mean, I have a lot more to say, but I want to hear what you guys, Sheila, and you guys have to say. Yeah.
Yeah, Sheila, go ahead. I would love to hear what you're feeling about this, and then as we go through today, I've got some important numbers I'm going to be sharing with people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel like, thank you, D'Angelo, and hello.
Hi.
Uh, I'm seeing it for everything you just said, D'Angelo, and I think it is really important for people who are listening and maybe not really understanding. Just like you said, you thought that the actors that you were working with were all making quite a bit more money than you. And that, some people I think are thinking, these guys are millionaires. They're just being babies out there on the street. And the truth is that they're negotiating for the minimum wage for that person who's only on one scene or two scenes, or the bartender, in the back of a show. And so we see the big name people, but they're out there supporting the entire community and those who are not a living from this industry. And then I also feel that this and a lot of what Fran said is an uprising that is across the board with the labor. And, COVID put this industry at a standstill, but just like so many industries, the CEOs, the top made money off of COVID, made lots of money. We had more billionaires come through during COVID than any other time.
Exactly.
True.
So the gap has gotten so big that labor has to stand up and tip the scale back.
Mm-hmm.
My opinion.
As we go through today's show, I'm going to be sharing just some important numbers for people to take in as we talk about this today. Additionally, we'll talk about how long this is going to last, the effect on the industry. We'll go into some other things that we can talk about, but one big number is 160,000.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the number of union members that are joining the 11,000 Writers Guild of America members. I don't think people really understand the depth and breadth of how many people are part of the union. And that's just directly, right? Then you have all the indirect people like you, D'Angelo, that are there as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of people.
Catering, craft services,
Absolutely.
all
And so
businesses that are around,
exactly. And so to put this into context, um, some of the largest government contractors like Boeing or Raytheon or some of these other, they're in the hundreds of thousands. They're like in the hundreds of thousands of people. We're talking about an industry that is at the same level in terms of how many people. So this is going to affect not just them, but all of us, because there's waves and ripple effects that happen when people go on strike. And so this is an important thing, and people wouldn't have gone on strike if there wasn't like important subjects that they needed to bring to the forefront. I mean, Fran Drescher kind of mentions a lot of that during her opening in terms of announcing the strike, which includes pay and all that kind of thing. Speaking of pay, D'Angelo, you talked about $27 an hour. The number that the number that I have is $27.73 per hour. That's the average pay for California actors in 2022. 27 bucks. And before the contract between the actors and movie studios officially expired, SAG-AFTRA members had to negotiate specific minimum rates for performers. For example, an actor who worked on a television show for 1 week was paid a minimum of $3,700.
Mm-hmm. That's with the speaking role.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. That's not an extra, right? The extra never has. Yeah,
an hour. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, Kelly Stewart, an actress who has performed for more than 20 years and has appeared on the television series All America and Blackish, noted that performers traditionally don't get to take home the number that appears as their rate. You don't get to keep it all when you get a paycheck. You have to pay taxes plus commissions. For me, that would include an agent, a manager, and a lawyer that negotiates your deals. Right away, when you're giving a quote for what you're going to get paid, you already know that's really going to be 35% less, give or take.
Mm,
Mhm.
So think about that. So you get paid $3,700 as a minimum, but 35% of that is going to go immediately to people who helped get that contract for you.
wow. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think that there's another important thing when we're saying a week, because I'm sure there's people out there that's like, yeah, that's still a lot of
No,
money
no.
for
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah,
week.
yeah.
But
Yeah, just break it down, Sheila.
but what that does, because that's the week that they are on set, right?
Correct.
It's
Right.
not the time that they're prepping. It's not the time when, they're waiting for their next
Right.
gig. A lot of, even as simple as in my work, people might think, what I charge per
Right.
session and that I'm making that per hour. No, because most of my hours are going unpaid. And that's what is happening with the actors too.
Very good point. Very
Speaking of that, D'Angelo, just to kind of put this in context before we go to break, what does the typical day look like for most people who are in television and film? When do they begin and when do they end? When
I'm gonna
they're
I'm
when
gonna
it, when it's active.
I'm gonna paint you a Disney story. Okay. Not Disney per se, the company. But you wake up, let's say your call time for the crew is 8 a.m., right?
Hmm.
But makeup and hair and actors, wardrobe, PAs, etc., catering, we have something called pre-call. So we get be there at, let's say, 5 o'clock, maybe
Hmm.
6 a.m.
Mhm.
So that means I'm waking up at 3:34 in the morning, get my coffee, dippity doo dah, or take a car to work. And then when I get to work, or I may buy coffee in the area, right? And
Right.
let's say 100 people buy coffee in that area. So that one coffee shop has made a few $1,000s, right?
Wow.
Before their morning even starts, just from crew.
Mhm.
Okay. And
Wow.
talent. So we go into a trailer, we get hair and makeup ready for the actors, and then wardrobe, and then they go to rehearsal, 8 a.m. call. Then everyone's pretty much on set.
Hmm.
But that day starts at 8 a.m. technically. So the day ends at 8 p.m., 10 p.m., midnight. It could be 16 hours, 18 hours. It just all depends on the production,
Wow.
you know.
Mhm.
And then what's also the actors are talking about in WGA is like not getting safety rides, meaning that
Wow.
Mhm.
before 6 a.m., you need a car. If you're not going to get on the subway and you're a known actor,
Right.
4 a.m. in the morning, 5
Right.
a.m. in the morning, you could get accosted or hurt or anything. So a lot of productions are trying to skirt around safety rides, even late at night when you finish at 11 p.m. or midnight.
Mhm.
So that's another thing. And also just demanding that they're taken care of,
Right.
the food
Right.
they need, just everything. And like Sheila was saying, they're not making $3,700 every single week. They
Right.
work that one job and maybe not be on a set for 2 or 3 months.
Wow.
Right.
You know,
Wow.
then a lot of them have day jobs, guys. Don't get me wrong. They are
Right.
doing other things. They're being waiters, bartenders. They work in offices or consultants. They do many other things, but their passion is the arts,
Right.
and they want to
Right.
get compensated
Mhm.
well for what they do.
Right. And in part, they're doing that because they have to, right?
Hmm.
I mean, they're doing it because they have to. They're working other jobs because what they're being paid isn't enough. Even though they may be on, like you said, they may be on set all these hours and all this kind of thing and doing it. Um, it's yeah. I have my own thoughts about it. I'll wait till the end to kind of talk about that.
Okay.
But yeah, it's that's yeah. Anyway, listen, we're gonna take a quick break. And we're going to talk more about the latest with the writers and actors strike. We'll also talk a little bit more about um, maybe what you don't know when it comes to this, including things like D'Angelo, you were kind of just talking about this before, that the people that we see are only a very small percentage of who is actually working and helping to create what we see in television, film, and on stage. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Soulivity, talking about the latest with the writers and actors strikes in just a second. We'll be back in about 30 seconds.
6 years ago when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
And we're back with more of This Morning with Soulivity. I'm joined by Sheila and D'Angelo, and we're talking about the latest with the writers and actors strikes. The writers have been striking since May of this year. The actors, Screen Actors Guild, and AFTRA have joined them this week. So there's basically about 170,000 people that are on strike across the country, which affects, our entertainment industry globally. I want to throw a couple of another one of these big numbers out here, which is 12.7%. And this is about, D'Angelo, you brought this up before, where this is like a minimum amount of money a performer must take home in 1 year to qualify for health insurance, and that's $26,470. But only 12.7% of people who are in the entertainment industry that are part of these unions actually get health insurance, can qualify to get health insurance, because
Right.
they don't make that amount of money over a year. So that's almost, 89%, 88%
Mhm.
of folks don't have health insurance because of it, through what they love.
Right.
It
Right.
is, and $26,000 isn't even minimum wage, everybody. Just to put that into perspective,
Right.
that's not minimum wage.
Hmm. We can look at this from a spiritual perspective, and
Yeah.
Sheila, let's go in.
All right.
What I'm loving about this, let's look at the positives, is that we're seeing a lot of transparency. Because a
Yes.
lot of times we did
Mhm.
not know where actors were going through. Sometimes they come in with bravado and ego, and we would never know that they were going through this. So this is important that now we're all aware, right?
Yeah.
And the things that we can do about it across the board, many unions, UPS is next, right?
Right.
So
Right.
many unions and many people are saying enough already. So as long as we keep talking about the things that our parents used to tell us not to talk about, which is what? Money,
Money. Yep.
religion.
Yep.
What was the other one? I think sex.
Right.
Politics. Sex.
I talk about all of them. So I think it's important to have transparency, equity. There is a
Mhm.
reckoning spiritually, is what's going on, really. It's more than just about quantifiable financial. It's really about elevating everyone.
Yeah.
Right. Agreed. Sheila?
Yeah, I completely agree. And I do feel that excitement about it. You mentioned UPS workers, the Teamsters are supporting them, the hotel housekeepers are on strike now for a fair contract, Amazon
Mm-hmm.
workers, and so many more are doing this and standing up and speaking. And I do think it's a wave of turning over something that has gotten so extreme. I think in all the areas of life we've seen and amplified by the pandemic, but this dichotomy of living,
Right. Right.
which, I love to use the words the serfs, really, if you look back at the medieval times and you watch a movie and you think, oh my God, thank God I don't live that back then,
Right.
outside the castle wall. And it's like, no, you do. We do. That is how it got. And now is the time for people to speak up and come together. And I feel like it, just like you said, D'Angelo, it is a tipping point. I mean, right now we're at well, it is a tipping
Yeah.
point. And
Yeah.
the entertainment industry is the perfect industry to do that, because we all think we know them. They feel like they've been in our house and they have the attention of the people, and they're using that to rally for all labor workers.
And you know what? There's something about we're talking about this spiritually, right? Where when our human existence really gets off kilter in terms of the natural essence of abundance and flow and prosperity and all the things that exist in our universe, right? I mean, all three of us know there's more than enough for everybody, right?
Yes.
Everybody to
Mhm.
have a really prosperous, abundant life. But when you bring it down to things like this number, 13 cents, right? Um, there was an actor, was it again Kelly Stewart says on on Twitter, Kelly Stewart said she shared a screen grab of 5 residual payments totaling 13 cents for replays on streaming services.
Wow.
13 cents, everybody. That's the total, not per. That's the
Right.
total.
Right.
And the person who the Netflix CEOs made 50 million and 28 million respectively in 2022.
Is that
Right.
bonuses or salary?
That was everything.
Or even higher? Yes.
Yeah, that's just their base salary, I guess. Um and so it's not like these companies can't pay the people who are working. They don't want to play. They
Right.
don't want to pay it. They don't want to pay it because if they did, they it would be equitable from the start. That's out of balance.
Very.
Mhm.
That is out of balance, and those people know it. And now all these workers around the country are standing up, saying, "No, we're not going to take this." You know, um, um, I thought one last thing on this. One other number is 31 million, and this revolves around Disney's CEO Bob Iger. He was basically saying that the demands of the actors and writers aren't realistic. Well, Bob Iger in 2022 agreed to a base salary of 1 million with potential annual bonuses of another 2 million. But when you include stock awards from Disney, that's another 25 million.
Hmm.
Right.
And then um, he agreed to remain in his post through 2026 while the company's board searches for a successor. In his new agreement, Eager is now eligible for a bonus up to 5 million bucks, meaning his total pay may reach 31 million dollars per year.
Right.
But he's the guy who's telling the actors and writers that they're not being realistic.
At a billionaire resort.
Yes,
Like I am not anti-wealth by any means.
absolutely. None of us are.
Extreme.
None of us are.
However,
I am anti-billionaire. Sorry. I don't think anyone needs to be a billionaire, but go on.
We can all be billionaires, though.
no, but however, it's just there's so much I need to say. It's just ridiculous.
Obscene.
It's ridiculous. It's obscene. It's like you see people are burning, losing their livelihood, can't even afford their livelihoods.
Right.
And I will only not say to the industry, streaming networks, but also let's, as people in the industry, talk to your agents,
Yeah.
talk to managers.
Yeah.
They have to demand more.
Yes.
Your publicists, instead of publicists siding with the networks, they work for you.
Yeah.
Make sure they work for you.
Yes.
Because when they call us to do red carpet, a friend and I were just discussing this, to do a red carpet, there's a certain rate that we expect, or to do promos. It has gotten less and less and less through the years. It's got to the point we've band together and said, no, guys, there is money allocated for this.
Right.
Stop lowballing us.
Mhm.
Right.
And that happens when you talk to your peers and you say to your peers, hey, if they want you to do a promo, this is what you should be asking, especially younger people who are not aware. If they want you to do red carpet for a feature film, this is what you should be asking. Not taking this new rate that Netflix has for everybody, which is not true, because they'll pay it to some people and then others pay 6 or 10 times that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
About being transparent and asking for more.
Absolutely. Listen, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll talk a little bit more about maybe things that people don't know, especially things around things like AI, like why are actors so concerned about artificial intelligence and the industry. So we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back with more of This Morning with Soulivity, talking about the latest with the writers and actors strikes in just a second.
Hi there, Sheila Applegate here with some exciting news. I've joined the incredible Soulivity team as the host of the new Consciously Awesome live show, where I will be sharing insights to help you discover your full brilliance and claim the vibrant life you deserve. So tune in every Wednesday right here on Soulivity TV to join the fun, and remember to subscribe to the channel so that you don't miss a single episode. Have an awesome week, and I will see you on Wednesday,
which is today. You can check out Sheila today at 12 noon. She's going to be talking about something that's really relevant for this conversation, and that is compassion.
You could use a little compassion right
Exactly. We're talking about the latest with the writers and actors strikes today. And want to continue this conversation about what the public may not know. And one of those things is AI. One thing that happened before the talks even began with the union and the major film studios, SAG-AFTRA enlisted Tom Cruise to lobby on behalf of its members. At issue was the use of artificial intelligence, and he was enlisted to discuss the concerns about the use of AI to replace actors and to speak in support of stunt promoters who are part of SAG-AFTRA's 160,000 members. Artificial intelligence, everyone, is a huge tool. It is something that can be used for a myriad of different things, but when it comes to the entertainment industry, there have not been set in motion any rules or regulations or any negotiations within the contracts around the use of AI, both utilizing people's likeness and image from other films through AI for future films and television and programs and all that, but also this stunt work, right? You can create an artificial person in a car and create a stunt, right? Something that looks real but is really artificial, which now puts all the stunt people out of work for that stunt, right?
Mhm.
And so that's just one example. Other examples are like in the latest Indiana Jones film, The Dial of Destiny. There's parts of it where um, a younger Harrison Ford character, a younger Indiana Jones character, is on screen.
Hmm.
Well, uh, gosh, Harrison Ford is speaking the words, but what you're seeing on screen is actually a deep fake of him in, the Indiana Jones costume or whatever. Um, so what happens when Harrison Ford isn't available for a film and they want to do another Indiana Jones? Does the film industry get the right just to use that old footage and create a whole new character and have him on screen
Hmm.
Hmm.
without paying him or his estate any money? I mean, so yeah. I mean, D'Angelo, you're at the forefront of this. You probably see it probably more than I do.
I'm thinking about CGI, which has been around for
Yeah,
longer, right? And I
yeah.
could be the father of AI or mother of AI.
Hmm.
Um, but also, you see, if you go to Vegas, you can watch a show of Whitney Houston, right?
Right,
Her performing what is it, holograph.
right,
We're headed that direction. We are the Jetsons, guys. We are.
right,
Should we be afraid of it or learn it or integrate it? I think we need
right,
to integrate it, but also
right,
we need to protect
Right.
ourselves federally.
right,
Uh, we have to protect our image.
right, right. Sheila Fran Drescher in that opening video was talking specifically about this too, right? Where um, she's saying, listen, the model has changed. It includes streaming, it includes AI now. We can't keep operating from a standpoint of there's nothing to see here, right?
Hmm.
Mm,
There's nothing to see here. You guys, because they will, like she said, the studios and the industry will basically just move on and say, we don't need you anymore. We're going to create all the characters that we need through artificial intelligence.
Yeah, I think this is just when we look at it, it's a very profound moment in
Yeah.
time. And
yes.
because that may happen and that can really happen in any
Yeah.
industry, but we're humans, we're creative beings, we enjoy creating. And so we're going to notice the difference. And there's something that is AI is leading us. It's another one of those things like COVID, like the pandemic, that is leading us to this tipping point that we need to really
Yeah.
reimagine life is going to be. And I don't think that it's a coincidence that the last time both the writers and the actors were striking at the same time, because the last time that happened was in the early
Yeah.
'60s, and you know how the '60s turned out as far as the movement that brought us to a new stage, and now we have an opportunity, as more and more of us come together and understand this, to let this be, what moves us into an even better stage of evolution of humanity.
Hmm.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. I think that in part, maybe part of the solution is Star Trek, like how Star Trek kind of works.
Yes.
They have the hologram or holodeck or whatever, where people can go in and they can imagine their lives doing different things and play around, but they still actually have live performances with artists and people who learn how to do things, and they share in that and they cherish it. I think the industry, the writers and the actors can come together in a way where it's not either or, it's and with, and that the
Mhm.
contract can be that way, where we're cherishing the people who have devoted their lives to these different crafts. And it's just not acting, it's what you do, D'Angelo. It's the crew who are building sets, it's the stunt people, it's all of these different people that we can really cherish all of you.
Mhm.
in a way that moves all of it forward, where everybody's cherished. We're using new technology in a way that brings everybody together and not apart,
Right.
which includes fair pay
Yeah.
and that kind of deal too. I mean, talk about spirituality, sharing that wealth, sharing that energy, and making sure that people are living really good lives. I
In
mean,
the 21st century and
in the 21st century.
beyond.
Wow, this was a great show today. I mean, there's so much more to talk about in regards to this. What I want to kind of end our talk around this is listen, if you're led, you can support the actors and writers on strike at the entertainmentcommunity.org. They have a fund that's available for those people who, you know, maybe having a tough time right now as they're going through this. And so you can come to this site, you can click on the donate button here, and you can give a tax deductible donation to support um, people who may be in need right now because of it. And there's probably a lot of people who are in need because of it. So,
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
no, hey, this is what we do. Thanks, Sheila, too. She found this
Oh, thank you, Sheila.
wonderful, wonderful organization. Um, and so please go out and do that. Listen, we're going to take a very, very quick break. And when we come back, we'll have some final thoughts and we'll do some shameless plugs. Actually, we'll do some shameless plugs. So we'll be right back in about 30 seconds.
6 years ago, when I started Soulivity, my vision was to support everyone in improving their life through the discovery of their passion and purpose, so they could become the best version of themselves, to battle fear and ignorance, and create a better world today. Get inspired to live your passion and purpose. Visit Soulivity.com now.
Woo! So much to say, never enough time. Why don't we get to some Soulivity shameless plugs, and I'll go to you, Sheila, first because I know you've got some cool things to talk about. Yeah.
Yeah. So coming up in just a few weeks, I'm going to be doing another Consciously Awesome Gnostic adventure,
Yay!
which is the most fun way you could ever learn to live in higher consciousness in every moment, be able to navigate this world like the magical essence that it really is, with you connecting to all of your spidey powers. And that made no sense to anyone, but you learn to meditate and you will change your outlook on the world. So if you're interested in learning more about that, we have the link up here. You can go to SheilaApplegate.com and we can have a virtual cup of coffee if you want me to really explain the details of how that would change your
That's
life.
great.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And this is happening, I think you can book all the way till August 15th, right? Okay.
Yeah, that's the cutoff date. And then we go on the adventure, which is a couple months long.
Woohoo!
I mean, you stay at home.
Right.
But you come
you
with us.
stay at
from the
home,
other
but
end.
not really.
It'll be the adventure of your life,
Yeah,
right?
you stay at home, but not really. You go away in a different way. D'Angelo, you have a fantastic workshop coming up. Can you tell people a little bit about that?
Yes, I have a workshop coming up called The Art of Pivoting, which is October 30th here in New York City. I would love to see everyone, and we'll talk about just how life changes and elevates and how you need to be ready for it. So pivoting is essential, especially in this new world.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Want to remind people that the new Soulivity.com is here. We have reimagined our platform to provide you even more information and content regarding learning what your passion is, how you can use that to serve through your purpose, and create your best life today. Look, we have to have more shameless plugs in the future when we have more time. Thank you both of you for being here this morning.
Thank you, guys. Sorry I was late again, everyone. But
Oh, you didn't have to say that. Nobody would have been the wiser.
well, let's just put it out there.
Just once again to the writers, the actors, and everybody who's part of the entertainment industry, including the executives. Listen, want to send love, light, and healing energy to all of you, to come to an agreement that everyone can more than live with, I would say strive with, and thrive with. Just want to put that out there, that we did the show today to bring awareness to what was happening to a large group of people, and that we want to empower all of those people so that they can come up with a fair and equitable uh, resolution. So, which includes our friend D'Angelo.
Thank you, guys.
Listen, want to remind people that we want you to follow us on social media. Go to our website at soulivity.com/this morning. You can join our mailing list. We're also on Threads. I've been noticing that people have been following us more and more on Threads, so we'll be doing more there. But yeah, we love to hear from you. Send us a comment, and even after this show is over, you can post some comments to our comment sections on even these videos, because we want to hear from you. We want to know what you think, and what you're feeling about the content that we're providing. Got a great big announcement coming up next week that involves this show. We'll be talking more about that next week, but not today. No hints.
I'm gonna leak it out so everybody
Better not. Anyway, listen, on behalf on behalf of all of us, I want to say thank you for joining us again for this edition of This Morning with Soulivity. Listen, we really hope that you come back and join us every weekday at 8 a.m. Eastern for our live broadcast right here on Soulivity TV, or you can listen Thursdays and Fridays at 9 a.m. Pacific time on our wonderful Southern California partner, KMET 1490 AM radio, which is our favorite radio station out there. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Listen, on behalf of all of us again, keep having real conversations with passion and purpose, and create a life full of high quality living today. We'll see you next time. Bye for now.
Bye, guys.
Bye.
This work is subject to copyright owned by Affinity Global LLC. Any reproduction or republication of all or part of this is expressly prohibited unless Affinity Global LLC has explicitly granted its prior written consent. All other rights reserved.